You like to think you've reached your limit, that you've given everything you have, that your body, your mind, your spirit, they've all cried enough. But here's the brutal truth. You haven't even scratched the surface. The limits you believe exist, they're stories you've been telling yourself to justify comfort. Most people quit long before they discover what they're truly capable of. And the worst part, you're letting it happen every single day without even realizing it. Look at your life. Ask yourself the hard questions. How many mornings have you hit snooze instead of rising to a challenge? How many nights have you allowed distraction and excuses to steal your focus? How many days have you settled for the easy option because discomfort was inconvenient? That pain you run from, that struggle you avoid, that gnawing sense of inadequacy you push aside, it's not a weakness, it's a signal, it's proof that you are alive and proof that growth is waiting for you. The moment you start avoiding that pain is the moment your potential dies. Picture this, a soldier limping on a battlefield, a leg broken, lungs burning, sweat blinding his vision. Every step is optional, every heartbeat a decision, give up or keep moving. Or imagine a climber clinging to the edge of a cliff, fingertips bleeding, muscles screaming for release. One slip, 1 second of hesitation, and it's over. And yet they move. Not because it's easy, not because someone is watching, not because they feel like it. They move because they refuse to quit. Because survival and growth require action. You are standing at your own cliff edge right now. Between the comfort of what you know and the chaos of what you are capable of lies a choice. You can turn back to the life you've settled for, the excuses you've perfected, the limits you've internalized, or you can step forward into the pain, the struggle, the raw reality of your potential. That step is yours. Every moment that passes is another day of untapped strength, waiting silently, mocking your hesitation. In the next 60 minutes, we're gonna break every excuse you've ever made. We're gonna tear apart every lie you tell yourself about what's possible, about what you can endure, about who you are. By the end of this journey, you won't recognize the person who thought giving up was an option. The person who quits before the finish line will not be you. So here's the question. Are you ready to face the truth? Are you ready to push past the pain, past the excuses, past the imaginary limits that have held you hostage? Because if you're not, nothing that comes next will matter. But if you are, then prepare yourself. This is where you will find out what you are truly made of. This is where the comfort dies and the warrior in you is born. You've been lied to, not by anyone else, but by yourself. You've been trained to believe that there is a point where you simply can't go any further. A line that can't be crossed, a wall that cannot be broken. That line, that wall, that limit, it's not real. It exists only in your mind. It's a convenient story you tell yourself so you can stop, so you can hide behind comfort, and so you can avoid facing the truth. You've only ever used a fraction of what you're capable of. Look at your life. Look at the moments you stopped because it was hard, moments you surrendered because you were tired, moments you said enough when you were nowhere near done. That's not weakness. That's the illusion of limits, the lie your mind tells to protect you from the pain of growth. Every time you've said, I can't do this, or I've given all I can, you've only proven one thing. Your mind quits before your body does. The mind is the real battlefield. The body, the spirit, the skills, they all follow the command of the mind. Once your mind accepts defeat, everything else falls apart. But here's the secret the world doesn't want you to know. Your potential doesn't have a finish line. You haven't even scratched the surface. Every time you feel like you've reached the edge, that's actually the moment to push harder. Every time your muscles scream, your lungs burn, or your thoughts plead for surrender, that's the moment growth is hiding. That's where the real work begins. You can't see it yet because the mind prefers safety, prefers mediocrity, prefers excuses. But it's there, waiting for you to step up. Consider the people who refuse to accept the limits imposed on them. Athletes who ran marathons after injuries that should have ended careers. Soldiers who marched through deserts with blisters, heat, and exhaustion, tearing at their every step. Ordinary people who faced impossible odds and discovered reserves of willpower they never imagined existed. What separates them from everyone else isn't a special talent, it's refusal. Refusal to let the mind dictate the rules. Refusal to settle for enough. Refusal to believe the lie. And now think about your own life. How often do you allow comfort to masquerade as your limit? How many times have you quit simply because the challenge was inconvenient? That's what most people call limits. The moments when they decide discomfort isn't worth it. But let me tell you, discomfort is the doorway to everything you want. It's the crucible that burns away weakness and forges strength. If you're avoiding it, you're never going to find out what you're truly capable of. Picture this, ice water covering your body. At first, it's shocking. Every nerve screaming, your teeth chattering, your lungs gasping, your body wants to retreat, to flee, to surrender. But if you stay, if you endure, if you push past the first wave of pain, something changes. You feel the fire ignite inside. You discover energy and resilience you didn't know existed. The ice doesn't get easier, it becomes fuel. And that right there is the truth about limits. They exist only until you confront them, only until you refuse to back down, only until you take ownership of your mind and refuse to quit. Your mind is clever. It's been practicing deception for years, teaching you to believe your boundaries are fixed, but they're not. They're elastic, pliable, waiting to be stretched. Every step you take past what you thought was impossible. Every time you do the work no one sees. Every time you push beyond pain, you chip away at the illusion of limits. And eventually those limits will crumble entirely. So ask yourself right now, how many walls have you allowed to hold you back? How many ceilings have you placed over your own life? Today, that stops. Today, you challenge the illusion. You confront the voice in your head that says, I can't. You take the first step past it, and you realize something terrifying and exhilarating. You are capable of far more than you've ever allowed yourself to imagine. And once you see it, once you feel it, once you embrace it, you can never go back. Because limits are not reality. Limits are excuses. And the only thing standing between you and everything you're capable of is the courage to push past them. Pain, discomfort, the burning in your muscles, the racing of your heart, the ache in your mind that makes you want to quit. Most people run from it. They numb it, avoid it, pretend it doesn't exist. They chase comfort like it's salvation, and they call surrender wisdom. But here's the truth the world doesn't tell you. Pain is proof that you're alive. Pain is the signal that you're growing. Pain is the only thing separating the weak from the unstoppable. Think about it. Every time you feel discomfort, your mind screams, stop, rest, you've done enough. And what do most people do? They listen, they retreat, they settle, they sit on the couch, scroll through distractions, tell themselves it's not the right time, that it's too hard, that tomorrow will be better. And tomorrow never comes because every day is just another chance to avoid pain. And the moment you avoid pain is the moment you stop growing. Pain is not punishment. Pain is feedback. Pain is your body, your mind, your spirit saying, you're on the edge, you're being stretched, you're breaking through. Every step that makes your lungs burn, every heartbeat that makes you feel like collapsing, every muscle trembling from exhaustion, these are not signs of failure. These are signs that you are alive, that you are engaged, that you are moving forward when others would quit. Picture an athlete pushing through the final mile of a marathon. Every step feels heavier than the last. Every breath is sharp and shallow. Their legs are screaming for relief. Their lungs are begging for air, and every instinct in their body tells them to stop. But they don't. They put one foot in front of the other. They embrace the discomfort. They allow the pain to fuel them, to sharpen them, to drive them forward. That is the difference between someone who reaches the finish line and someone who settles halfway. Pain separates the passive from the powerful. Now, let's take this beyond the physical. Life doesn't hand out growth on a silver platter. Life punishes comfort. Every time you choose ease over effort, you reinforce weakness. Every time you avoid struggle, you train your mind to quit. Fear, doubt, procrastination, they thrive in the absence of challenge. And when you finally encounter a real test, a real wall, a real obstacle, you crumble. You weren't built to face comfort, you were built to fight. You were built to endure. You were built to lean into the pain that everyone else runs from. Pain is a teacher, brutal and unrelenting, but honest. It tells you where you are, where you've been, and what you are capable of. Ignore it and you stagnate. Embrace it and you find strength that surprises even you. Pain is not the enemy, it's the forge. Every moment of struggle is a hammer, every drop of sweat is fire, and every time you push through when your mind says quit, you are molded into something stronger than before. The world will try to convince you otherwise. It will tell you that suffering is bad, that discomfort is to be avoided, that you are already doing enough. Ignore it. The discomfort is proof. The struggle is the signal, and the higher the resistance, the bigger the reward. Growth does not live in safety. Transformation does not dwell in ease. Power, resilience, mental toughness, they are born in the moments that make you want to quit but force you to go further anyway. Look at your own life. When was the last time you truly challenged yourself? When was the last time you willingly stepped into discomfort? When every fiber of your body screams stop, most people avoid it, but not you. Not today. Today you face it. You recognize that pain is not a barrier, it's a bridge to strength, to endurance, to clarity, to the version of yourself that doesn't flinch when life gets hard. Pain is a choice, not the pain itself, but how you respond to it. You can let it break you, define you, destroy you, or you can use it, harness it, turn it into fuel. Let it remind you that you're alive. Let it remind you that growth is happening in real time. Let it remind you that every moment you embrace the struggle, you are creating a self that is unstoppable, unshakable, and relentless. So stop running. Stop hiding. Stop pretending that comfort is safety. The fire, the struggle, the pain, that is life, that is growth. That is where your limits are tested and broken. Lean into it. Feel it. Let it sharpen you. Because the moment you stop fearing it, the moment you start moving through it, you realize something terrifying and liberating. Pain is not your enemy, it is your awakening. It is the sign that you are alive, that you are capable, and that you have only just begun. Look in the mirror. Really look. Strip away the excuses. Strip away the lies you've been telling yourself. What do you see? Do you see someone grinding every day, battling every weakness, refusing to quit? Or do you see someone who talks a big game, complains about life, and then does nothing? Because the mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't care about excuses. It doesn't care about your intentions. And it certainly doesn't care about the reasons you give for why you didn't try hard enough. It reflects exactly what you've put into your actions or what you've refused to put in. Radical self-honesty is the foundation of all discipline. Without it, every motivational quote, every pep talk, every promise you make to yourself is worthless. Because if you can't face yourself as you really are, if you can't admit where you've fallen short, then nothing changes. You keep spinning in the same cycle of excuses, disappointment, and half effort. And the world moves on. You stay stuck. Ask yourself, what are the habits that are holding you back? What are the thoughts that keep you small? What rationalizations are you hiding behind to justify laziness, fear, or procrastination? Don't whisper the answers, face them head on. Because the truth is uncomfortable, and discomfort is the only thing that drives real change. Every morning you hit snooze instead of rising to a challenge. Every time you scroll endlessly while your goals wait. Every time you avoid accountability, you are making a choice. A choice to accept mediocrity. A choice to feed weakness. And the mirror is there, silently recording every one of those moments. Now, confront your avoidance behaviors. They are everywhere. The late night distractions, the half-completed tasks, the conversations you avoid, the training you skip, the discipline you promise but never enforce. These are not small infractions, they are the building blocks of failure. The more you avoid, the more you reinforce weakness. And the harder life hits, the less prepared you are to respond. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows you exactly how unprepared, exactly how uncommitted, and exactly how much of your potential you are wasting. This is where most people break. Most people run from this kind of honesty because it stings. It's easier to blame circumstance than to admit that you didn't do enough. It's easier to curse the world than to own your role in your own stagnation. But you're not most people. You're here because you're willing to look at yourself and face the raw truth. Your failures are yours. Your excuses are yours. Your wasted potential is yours. And owning it is the first step toward changing it. Failure is not shameful. Excuses are not acceptable. Every time you avoid accountability, you give your mind permission to weaken, your habits permission to decay, and your potential permission to die quietly in the shadows. You must own every failure before you can ever build success. Own it fully, without rationalization, without justification. Look at the reflection in the mirror and say, this is me. This is what I've allowed. This ends now. Contrast that image with the person who acts relentlessly, the person who trains even when tired, the person who completes the work no one else sees, the person who doesn't wait for motivation, inspiration, or circumstances to align. They act, they own, they endure, they embrace radical self-honesty as armor. And slowly, steadily, relentlessly, they become someone the mirror cannot shame. Because their reflection is no longer a reminder of weakness, it's a testament to commitment, discipline, and raw action. Let the mirror guide you. Let it confront you. Let it challenge every excuse, every lie, every rationalization. You cannot grow if you cannot face yourself. And growth is exactly what you are here for. Stop blaming circumstance. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Stop hiding behind "I'm tired" or "I'll start tomorrow." The mirror doesn't care. It only reflects the truth of what you are doing right now. And if you want to be strong, if you want to break your limits, if you want to be relentless, then you must first become honest. This is not easy. It's uncomfortable, it's ugly, but it's necessary. Every layer of weakness, every ounce of avoidance, every day of laziness, it will all confront you in the mirror until you acknowledge it. And when you dial in, you stare it down, admit it, and refuse to let it define you. That is where transformation begins. That is where discipline is forged. That is where the foundation for identity reconstruction is laid. So tonight, when you face yourself, don't flinch, don't soften the reflection, don't excuse your failures, see the truth. Face the discomfort, own everything. Because radical self-honesty is not a punishment, it is the key to unleashing every ounce of power you have buried under fear, excuses, and weakness. Look in the mirror and make a choice. Will you continue hiding, or will you start acting relentlessly, without compromise, without hesitation, without excuses? The mirror doesn't lie, and neither can you. Your mind, that's where the fight starts. That's where the war is won or lost. Long before your body ever moves, long before your muscles ache, long before anyone else sees what you're capable of. The battlefield isn't outside, it's inside. Every challenge you face, every wall you encounter, every time you feel like quitting, it all begins here, in the battlefield of your own thoughts. If you lose there, you lose everywhere. If you win there, nothing can stop you. Think about it. Your body can endure more than your mind believes it can. Your muscles can take the punishment, your lungs can push through the burn, your hands can hold on longer, but your mind decides the outcome first. That voice in your head, the one whispering, "Stop, you're done." The one convincing you that this is too hard, that you're not ready, that someone else is better, this is your enemy. And if you don't train it, control it, dominate it, it will betray you every single time. The first step in this battle is recognition. You have to see the negative thought patterns clearly. Stop pretending they don't exist. Stop just feeling them passively. Identify them, name them, confront them. I can't do this, I'm not enough, I'll fail anyway. These aren't truths. They are weapons your mind is using against you. They are traps designed to keep you small, safe, mediocre. And every time you accept them, you surrender ground to the enemy. Recognition is the first strike. Call out the lies for what they are. Expose them. They have power only when you let them. Once you recognize them, you must replace them with tactical aggression. Not vague positivity, not hollow motivation, tactical aggression. Every negative thought becomes a trigger for action. Every whisper of doubt becomes fuel for intensity. When the voice says, "You can't," respond with deliberate defiance. "I will, I must, I refuse to quit." Mental toughness is not the absence of fear or doubt, it is the mastery of them. It is the ability to take that fear, that hesitation, that self-doubt, and turn it into relentless forward movement. Visualization is your weapon. Before a soldier charges into battle, before an athlete lifts their heaviest weight, before a warrior takes the first step into fire, they see it. They imagine victory. They visualize themselves conquering the obstacle, dominating the moment, standing on the other side stronger than ever. Your mind responds to what you feed it. If you picture failure, you reinforce fear. If you picture surrender, you train yourself to quit. But if you visualize success, if you see yourself pushing past the limits you once thought unbreakable, your mind begins to prepare your body to follow. Victory becomes inevitable because you've already claimed it mentally. Focus is another weapon. The mind is a battlefield because it is chaotic. It is cluttered with fear, distraction, and uncertainty. You must cut through the noise. You must command your thoughts with precision, like a general directing troops in the fog of war. Decide what matters, decide what will not distract you, and lock your attention on it relentlessly. Let everything else fade. Your attention is a weapon. It can annihilate doubt if you aim it with discipline. Pre-commitment is the armor. Decide before the fight begins that quitting is not an option. Do not rely on motivation. It is fleeting. Do not wait for courage to arrive. It is unreliable. Decide now that you will endure, that you will act, that you will win, no matter what. The mind resists uncertainty. By pre-committing to the path of relentless action, you remove the battlefield from indecision and fear. Your mind begins to work for you instead of against you. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop asking permission to succeed. You declare it. Every challenge you face, every uncomfortable moment, every time your body screams to stop, is a test of this battlefield. The difference between the person who pushes forward and the person who quits is rarely physical. It is almost always mental. The body follows the mind. The mind is the commander. The battlefield is invisible, but the casualties are real. Wasted time, lost opportunities, untapped potential, all because the mind surrendered first. Picture the soldier standing at the edge of chaos. He knows the fire will hurt. He knows the risk is real. But he closes his eyes, visualizes victory, sharpens his focus, pre-commits to action, and moves forward. Every step is a decision. Every breath reinforces his resolve. He dominates the battlefield of the mind before he even steps onto the battlefield of the world. And when the physical challenge comes, he moves with unstoppable momentum because the battle has already been won internally. This is the truth. If you master your mind, the body will obey. If you control your thoughts, the world cannot control you. If you refuse to surrender mentally, nothing outside can defeat you. Fear, fatigue, doubt, obstacles, they only have power if you grant it to them. And once you internalize this, once you embrace the reality that the mind is the battlefield where everything begins, you begin to move differently. You act differently. You endure differently. You stop negotiating with weakness and start dominating your own potential. So train your mind like it's the only weapon you'll ever need, because it is. Recognize the lies. Replace doubt with aggression. Visualize your victory. Lock and focus and pre-commit to relentless action. Every thought is a soldier. Every decision is a strike. The battlefield is inside you, and if you win there, nothing in the world can touch you. Your mind is a battlefield. Step onto it. Fight, win, repeat. Most people think progress comes from massive, sweeping actions. They wait for a perfect day, the perfect moment, the perfect surge of motivation. That's a lie. Real growth isn't born from occasional bursts of effort, it's born from consistency, from the small victories stacked day after day, step after step, grind after grind. Momentum compounds quietly, invisibly, until one day you look up and realize you've climbed a mountain while everyone else was busy staring at the hill. Small wins are deceptively powerful. Brushing off a tiny success seems meaningless at the moment. Making your bed, finishing a task you've been avoiding, running just one more block when your lungs scream stop. But each of these wins is a signal to your mind. I can, I will, I don't quit. Each small victory is a brick in the foundation of unshakable discipline. And once the foundation is solid, the skyscraper of your potential rises faster than you ever imagined. Tracking habits is critical. You cannot improve what you don't measure. Every time you log your wins, no matter how small, you give yourself proof that you are moving forward. Habits, when compounded, become unstoppable forces. One disciplined choice today leads to another tomorrow and another the day after. Soon, the smallest effort carries the weight of progress that most people spend years chasing unsuccessfully. Momentum doesn't require grandeur, it requires repetition, vigilance, and ruthless honesty. Micro challenges are your secret weapon. Break your day into battles you can fight and win. Wake up and conquer the first task that feels impossible, the one you're tempted to avoid. That first victory sets the tone. It primes your mind for action, it fuels confidence, it eliminates hesitation. Think of it like a mountain climber, taking one deliberate step after another. The summit doesn't appear at once, it appears gradually, as a result of relentless incremental progress. Step by step, task by task, habit by habit, you build momentum that cannot be stopped. Here's the truth most people miss. The small wins matter more than the dramatic, high-profile achievements. The person who consistently chooses discipline every day will always outperform the one who waits for inspiration, the one who relies on luck, the one who hopes for the perfect opportunity. Momentum compounds, confidence grows, resistance weakens, and the small wins, though invisible to the casual observer, will eventually carry you past limits you once believed were insurmountable. Now ask yourself, what's one impossible task you've been putting off? What's one action that scares you, that tests your commitment, that demands discipline? Do it first thing. Do it today. You will feel the resistance in every fiber of your being. You will feel the urge to quit, to procrastinate, to take the easy route, fight it, endure it. That single act will send ripples through the rest of your day. Suddenly, everything else feels manageable. The momentum begins and the chain reaction of progress is unstoppable. Small wins build confidence because they are tangible proof that you can act when others hesitate. They are proof that your mind and body can obey your command, that your habits can carry you further than you imagined. The person who consistently wins the micro battles doesn't need motivation, they have momentum. Motivation fades, discipline endures, and momentum, once it starts, carries you past exhaustion, fear, and doubt. So start today. Identify the smallest victory you can claim. Track it, own it, repeat it. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. This is how ordinary effort becomes extraordinary results. This is how small wins become massive momentum. Step by step, habit by habit, action by action, you move closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Momentum doesn't wait for inspiration, it waits for discipline, it waits for action. And once it begins, it will sweep you forward, unstoppable, unrelenting, unbreakable. You're hitting it now, you feel it, that wall, that barrier, that voice in your head screaming, stop, this is too hard, you've done enough. And every fiber of your being is agreeing with it. Your body is tired, your mind is exhausted, your muscles are screaming rebellion, your lungs are burning, your chest is heavy, your heart feels like it's gonna explode, and every instinct is telling you to quit. That right there is the moment that defines everything. That is the wall. And here's the truth that most people never face. The wall is not your enemy. The wall exists to filter the weak. It exists to separate the people who talk from the people who do, the people who quit from the people who conquer. Every ounce of discomfort, every painful thought, every whisper of doubt is a test. And the moment you want to quit is exactly when you must push harder. Because if you stop now, nothing changes. You remain average. You remain safe. You remain in the shadow of the person you are capable of becoming. Look around. No one is coming to help you. No one is going to shout encouragement. No one is going to hand you motivation on a silver platter. This is yours. Your struggle, your fight, your moment. And right now, you have a choice. Step back into the comfort you've been hiding in, or step through the pain, through the fire, and claim what most people will never even attempt. The wall isn't the end. The wall is the gateway. Your mind is screaming, I can't. And what is your answer? I will. Your body is begging for rest. And what is your command? I refuse to stop. This is the battlefield where mediocrity dies. Every excuse you've ever made, every rationalization, every moment you've allowed fear to dictate your action, it all comes up in this instant. The wall is not just physical, it's psychological. It is the sum of every weakness you've tolerated, every habit you've neglected, every fear you've obeyed, and it will test you relentlessly. Imagine a marathon runner hitting mile 20. Everything in their body is telling them to quit. Their legs are trembling, their lungs feel like fire, every heartbeat feels like it could stop. And yet they press on, one step, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. Nothing glamorous, nothing heroic, just relentless action when all of their being wants to surrender. That is what the wall is teaching you. It is showing you what you're made of. And the moment you climb it, the moment you refuse to yield, you discover strength you didn't know existed. Common excuses will flood your mind: fatigue, fear. I've done enough. This is impossible. Someone else would have quit by now. Recognize these thoughts for what they are: lies. They are poison. They are the comfort-seeking impulses that your mind has trained you to obey. Every time you listen to them, you surrender a piece of yourself. Every time you obey them, you delay growth, delay power, delay transformation. And here's the brutal fact: no one else is going to fight for you. This is your fight, your wall, your moment. Push past the first layer of resistance. Push past the screaming in your body. Push past the doubt in your mind. Start with small drills. One more rep, one more step, one more breath. Tell yourself, I will go further than my body thinks I can. I will endure longer than my fear believes is possible. Mental drills are the bridge between failure and transformation. Each repetition, each step past discomfort reinforces the truth. The only limits are the ones you accept. Now escalate, go deeper, close your eyes, and see the moment your entire life will depend on not quitting. Your career, your goals, your relationships, your dreams. Picture yourself standing at the edge of what you once thought was impossible. Your mind wants to quit, your body wants to quit, but you are standing there and you say, no, I move forward. Every ounce of fear becomes fuel. Every fiber of exhaustion becomes power. Every scream of weakness becomes an echo of determination. Pain is unavoidable. Doubt is unavoidable. Exhaustion is unavoidable. And that is exactly why this moment matters. The wall is not a barrier, it is a filter. Only those willing to endure, willing to confront themselves, willing to fight when every instinct says stop, will pass through it. Everyone else will quit. Everyone else will fade into the background. But not you, not today. Today you climb. There is no secret. There is no shortcut. You will not be inspired out of weakness. You will not be motivated into strength. You will not stumble into resilience by accident. You must choose it. You must demand it of yourself. You must endure it. The wall is not a challenge. You can avoid it. It's a crucible you must survive. And surviving it, not just physically but mentally, is what separates the average from the unstoppable. Hear this. Every fiber screaming stop is a signal you are breaking past limits. Every thought saying I can't is the proof that you can. Every burn, ache, and exhaustion is evidence that your body is doing exactly what it is supposed to do, proving you are alive, proving you can endure, proving you can dominate. Lean into it. Embrace it. Let it sharpen your mind, fortify your body, and steel your spirit. You will want to quit. You will question everything. You will wonder if you are enough. That is the moment where transformation is forged. That is the battlefield where strength is born. That is the edge where ordinary people turn back and warriors step forward. And when you push past it, when you fight through the fire, when you refuse to let fear, doubt, or pain dictate your action, you emerge unstoppable. The wall exists to test you. The wall exists to break you, but it only has power if you give it power. The wall is not permanent. It is not invincible. It is temporary. And on the other side, beyond every scream of resistance, beyond every trembling step, beyond every thought of surrender, is the strongest version of yourself waiting to be claimed. So here is your command. Stop negotiating. Stop rationalizing. Stop listening to the part of you that wants to quit. Step forward into the pain, into the struggle, into the fear. Hit the wall with everything you have. And when it hits back, hit harder. One step, one breath, one rep. One heartbeat at a time. The wall is not the end, it is the beginning. This is your moment. This is your crucible. This is the spike. Hit it, own it, and let it forge you into someone no excuse can stop, no obstacle can shake, and no limit can contain. You just hit the wall. You felt the pain, the doubt, the resistance. Now comes the part that separates warriors from victims. Ownership. Not partial ownership, not convenient ownership, not ownership when things are going well. Obsessive ownership. Because here's the truth, most people refuse to accept Your life is the result of your decisions, not your circumstances, not your childhood, not your boss, not the economy, not luck. Decisions, repeated daily, reinforced over time, and until you own that completely, you remain powerless. Blame feels good in the moment. It protects your ego. It keeps your identity safe. It gives you something external to fight instead of forcing you to confront yourself. But blame is weakness disguised as logic. The moment you point outward, you surrender control. Ownership is the opposite. Ownership is saying, I didn't prepare enough. I didn't train hard enough. I didn't execute with discipline. I allowed distraction. I tolerated weakness. That's power. Because once you own it, you can change it. If it's someone else's fault, you're stuck. If it's your fault, you can fix it. That's freedom. Most people want control without responsibility. They want success without discipline. They want results without sacrifice. But the equation does not work that way. Results follow responsibility. Always. Look at the highest performers in any arena of business, athletics, leadership. When they fail, they don't deflect. They don't rationalize. They don't blame conditions. They analyze. They adjust. They execute again. Imagine a coach after a crushing loss. Cameras in his face, critics everywhere. Instead of saying the referees were unfair or the players didn't show up, he says, I didn't prepare them well enough. That's on me. Immediately, the energy shifts because now improvement is possible. Ownership converts failure into fuel. Blame converts failure into paralysis. Now apply that to your own life. You say you're tired. Why? You say you're behind. Why? You say you're stuck. Why? If you dig deep enough, the pattern appears. You tolerated inconsistency. You accepted average effort. You negotiated with weakness. You chose comfort repeatedly. That is not condemnation. That is clarity. And clarity is power. From this moment forward, you adopt the 100% rule. No excuses. No halfway effort. No, almost. No, I tried. Either you execute or you don't. Either you show up fully or you admit you didn't. There is no middle ground for someone who wants to break limits. Partial ownership creates partial results. Full ownership creates total transformation. When something goes wrong, you ask, what did I control? What did I neglect? What standard did I lower? And you correct it immediately. No drama, no self-pity, no emotional spiral, just adjustment and action. That's obsessive ownership. It means your mindset is your responsibility. If negativity creeps in, you confront it. If discipline slips, you reinforce it. If your work ethic softens, you harden it. You don't wait for inspiration. You don't wait for validation. You don't wait for rescue. You respond. And here's the hidden advantage. Once you own everything, fear loses its grip. Because failure is no longer an identity threat. It becomes data, feedback, information. You are no longer fragile. You are adaptable. Victims protect their ego. Leaders protect their standards. And standards are everything. When your standard becomes, I own everything, your behavior changes instantly. You prepare more thoroughly, you train more intensely, you think more critically, you execute more precisely, not because someone is watching, but because you refuse to betray your own commitment. That is where unstoppable power comes from. Not hype, not motivation, not emotion, ownership. You control your preparation, you control your effort, you control your attitude, you control your response. That is enough. The world can be chaotic. Circumstances can shift, people can disappoint you. But if your internal response is disciplined and accountable, nothing external can destroy your momentum. Ownership builds resilience because when something breaks, you don't collapse, you adapt. When something fails, you don't retreat, you recalibrate. When something hurts, you don't complain, you strengthen. This is how you move from surviving to dominating. Obsessive ownership turns you from reactive to proactive, from emotional to strategic, from fragile to formidable. And understand this clearly. Once you fully accept responsibility for your results, you cannot go back to blaming. You see through it. You hear excuses differently. They sound hollow, weak, transparent. Because now you know the truth. The only thing standing between you and the next level is the standard you are willing to enforce on yourself. Raise it. Raise it above comfort. Raise it above convenience. Raise it above your old identity. Own your mornings, own your habits, own your mindset, own your output, everything. And once you do, something powerful happens. You stop hoping for change. You start creating it. That is the shift. That is the discipline. That is the moment where pain turns into power and the wall you just climbed becomes proof. From here, you are no longer just enduring, you are building. And the foundation you're building on is unbreakable because it's built on responsibility, not excuses. Obsessive ownership, this is where real strength begins. You think discipline limits you. That's the lie your mind tells you. You tell yourself that routines, structure, schedules, and rules are chains, that they cage you, that they make life rigid and dull. But the truth is the exact opposite. Your lack of discipline is what limits you. When you drift, When you follow impulses, when you wait for motivation to strike, you surrender control of your life to chaos. Mood becomes your master, and chance becomes your guide. Discipline, on the other hand, is freedom. Discipline is autonomy compressed into action. It is the tool that transforms potential into reality. Every step you take intentionally, every habit you enforce relentlessly, every rule you live by is a declaration that no circumstance, no excuse, no distraction can stop you. Look at the people who achieve extraordinary results. They don't rise to the level of motivation. They fall to the level of their training. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They've already built the systems, the structure, the routines that force them to execute. The morning rituals that seem boring to the uninitiated are actually shields. The training sessions they schedule before their body wants to move are armor. The habits they enforce quietly every day are walls that protect them from distraction, weakness, and mediocrity. Without structure, you are exposed. Your mind wanders, your energy is wasted, your focus dissipates, your results crumble. With structure, with discipline, you conserve your strength, you act decisively, you respond effectively, you dominate the environment instead of being swept along by it. Discomfort is inevitable, pain is inevitable. Life will hit you with resistance whether you prepare for it or not. That's why the highest performers ritualize discomfort. They wake before the world is ready. They train when their body protests. They work when excuses try to seduce them. They maintain calm when their ego wants to explode. They don't hope for challenges, they choose them. Because if you don't choose your discomfort, life will choose it for you, and life's version is always harsher, always unplanned, always more destructive. When you schedule hardship, you gain control. You make it predictable. Predictable discomfort becomes manageable, and manageable discomfort becomes power. Raw, unshakable, unstoppable. Discipline is not abstract. It is tangible in 4 critical domains. Sleep. You do not negotiate with your recovery. You do not cheat on rest and then expect performance to follow. Sleep is your baseline. Diet. Fuel is leverage. Every decision you make about nutrition is a vote for strength or weakness. Work. Deep focused work is non-negotiable. Chaos and distraction will always exist. Discipline is what ensures that your output is consistent and powerful despite the noise. Thought. Mental discipline is the highest form. You catch negative spirals. You replace reactive thinking with deliberate cognition. You audit your self-talk, your internal dialogue, your narrative. Control your behaviors, control your patterns, control the trajectory of your identity. This is how ordinary humans become extraordinary. Consider the athlete, the one who dominates, the one who others admire from a distance. Every day is repetition, same wake-up time, same warm-up, same drills, same recovery, same review. To the outside observer, it may look monotonous, mechanical, robotic, but inside, it is mastery. Control over body, mind, and outcome. Compare that to the person who drifts. They sleep inconsistently, they train inconsistently, they work inconsistently. Their results reflect their chaos. Freedom is not the absence of rules. Freedom is the ability to act deliberately and effectively, without reliance on mood, motivation, or external circumstances. Discipline is not restriction, it is the engine of autonomy. Every choice to enforce structure, to follow your rules, to act when your instincts resist, is a vote for power. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself is the moment you become dangerous. Every time you rise before the comfort of the bed, push past the pain in your muscles, focus through the distractions, and refuse to cave to laziness, you declare to the world and to yourself that nothing will control you but your standards. Discipline is a lens. It sharpens your vision, it clears the noise, it creates clarity from chaos. And that clarity allows you to move fast, decisively, relentlessly. Discipline is freedom because it turns intention into action. Every habit you build, every standard you enforce, every rule you live by compounds. They stack on top of each other until the person you were yesterday is unrecognizable. Your decisions, made consistently, define your outcomes. Your habits, enforced obsessively, define your trajectory. Your standards, upheld without compromise, define your identity. No motivation required, no luck needed, no excuses tolerated. Discipline bridges the gap between where you are and where you are capable of being. This is not theory, it is fact. The more you rely on moods, motivation, and convenience, the smaller your potential. The more you enforce discipline, structure, and deliberate effort, the greater your output, the greater your power, and the greater your freedom. There is no freedom in chaos. There is no autonomy in laziness. There is no strength without control. The same hands that hold you back when undisciplined are the same hands that will propel you to dominance when trained. The same mind that excuses mediocrity when lazy will achieve greatness when mastered. So enforce your standards, ritualize your discomfort, protect your focus, build your routines like armor. Act like every day is a mission. Execute like failure is not an option. Control your sleep, your diet, your work, your thoughts. Own your mornings, own your hours, own your output, own your mindset. This is how discipline becomes freedom. This is how structure becomes power. This is how ordinary people step into a life of relentless execution and unstoppable results. And understand this clearly. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself, the moment you enforce your own standards without compromise, without delay, without excuses, is the moment you become dangerous. Not to others, dangerous to your own limits, dangerous to weakness, dangerous to the version of yourself that settled, that rationalized, that gave up. That is the point where discipline ceases to be a burden and becomes a weapon you carry silently every day against hesitation, doubt, distraction, and fear. Discipline is freedom. Embrace it, enforce it, live it relentlessly. You have endured the pain, you have stared at the wall, faced the fire, and refused to quit. You have felt every ounce of weakness scream at you to stop, and yet you persisted. Now something is shifting inside. That version of yourself who hid behind excuses, who whispered, "I'll start tomorrow," who allowed fear to dictate action, that person is no longer in control. The old identity is dead. The ashes of your weakness are scattered behind you, and from them rises something new, something forged in discomfort, sharpened in struggle, and tempered by relentless action. You are becoming a warrior. This is not metaphor, this is reality. Every moment of suffering, every repetition completed under pain, every thought you conquered, every step you took when your instinct said stop, has rewritten who you are at the core. Your identity is not something handed to you. It is something earned, and you are earning it right now. The battlefield you fought externally, the wall, the exhaustion, the resistance, was a mirror showing you who you were capable of becoming. Every time you chose action over surrender, discipline over ease, integrity over compromise, you carved a new version of yourself, one that cannot be shaken by excuses, fear, or circumstance. You are no longer defined by weakness. Weakness was never external. It was never circumstance. Weakness was the patterns, the habits, the tolerances you maintained that allowed comfort to outweigh progress. And now you see it clearly. You are free from it. The warrior you are becoming does not bend to discomfort. The warrior does not negotiate with fear. The warrior acts with intentional ferocity every single day, without hesitation, without apology, without compromise. Adopt this identity consciously. Do not wait for someone else to validate it. Do not wait for life to present you with the perfect moment. Declare it to yourself. I am the one who acts when others hesitate. I am the one who moves when others stall. I am the one who endures when others break. Say it with conviction. Repeat it daily. Let it sink into your bones. This is no longer a mantra. It's a behavioral framework, a rule set for your life. Every choice you make must now align with this identity. The warrior does not sometimes act. The warrior does not occasionally endure. The warrior does not negotiate for comfort. The warrior commands every thought, every action, every moment to serve the standard of relentless excellence. Your behaviors must reflect this identity. Mental mantras alone will not create transformation. Your mind will believe what your body enforces. Your body will obey the habits your mind disciplines. Rise early even when tired. Train harder even when sore. Work deeper even when distracted. Focus longer even when tempted to quit. Every action you take in alignment with this warrior identity is a declaration that your transformation is real, irreversible, and unstoppable. You are no longer a passive participant in your life. You are an architect. You are a sculptor. You are building a version of yourself that will not bow, that will not falter, that will not fail. Visualize yourself like a phoenix. The old you has burned in the fire of struggle. The smoke of weakness and hesitation has cleared. Now, from those ashes you rise. You are stronger, faster, more disciplined, more intelligent, more relentless than you were yesterday. Every scar, every ache, every moment of suffering has fueled this rebirth. The fire of your trials is the furnace of transformation, and it has left you tempered and unbreakable. The world may still try to test you, but you are no longer fragile. You are a warrior in full form, trained by adversity, strengthened by resistance, and sharpened by discipline. Adopt rules for this new self. Rules are not restrictions, they are commitments to your identity. For every time you want to quit, you will act. For every moment your body wants comfort, you will push. For every thought that tries to weaken your resolve, you will reinforce it with deliberate action. Your time is not negotiable. Your effort is not negotiable. Your integrity is not negotiable. When discomfort arrives, you do not flinch. When obstacles appear, you do not retreat. When failure looms, you do not panic. You adjust, you adapt, you execute. Your standards are higher than fear. Your discipline exceeds excuses. Your vision eclipses obstacles. Every day becomes a test of this identity. And every test you pass compounds. You will look back in months and years and see the warrior you are becoming, not as a distant goal, but as a present reality. Because identity is not an abstract concept, it is a set of consistent actions repeated until they are inseparable from who you are. You do not perform discipline, you embody it. You do not overcome fear, you exist in defiance of it. You do not tolerate weakness, you annihilate it before it can define you. This is the standard, this is the code, this is the new operating system of your life. Remember, the warrior is forged in suffering, the warrior is reborn in fire. The warrior does not fear hardship, he seeks it. He knows that every trial endured, every discomfort accepted, every barrier broken is a rung on the ladder toward invincibility. Weakness may attempt to whisper again, but it is a ghost. Fear may try to anchor you, but it is a shadow. Discomfort may scream, but it is the forge. You have learned to listen to it, to embrace it, and to use it as a tool rather than a chain. And this is just the beginning. Transformation is not a single moment. It is relentless repetition. It is waking up every day and reaffirming the identity you have claimed. It is choosing again and again to act like the warrior, to think like the warrior, to endure like the warrior. Every decision, every action, every thought either aligns with that identity or undermines it. You now have the map, you have the compass, you have the standards. And nothing can derail you unless you permit it. Rise from the ashes of your former self. Step fully into this new identity. Stand in the fire of your trials without flinching. Carry the mental, emotional, and physical standards of a warrior in every move you make. Let the world test you. Let circumstances attempt to break you. Let fatigue, doubt, and fear try to pull you down. None of it matters. The identity you have claimed is stronger than every obstacle. Your rules, your mantras, your behaviors are the armor that protects you from surrender. Your transformation is permanent because it is rooted in truth, action, and unflinching discipline. From this point forward, you are not the person who quits. You are not the person who fears discomfort. You are not the person defined by excuses, weakness, or hesitation. You are the warrior, relentless, unyielding, accountable, fearless. Every action, every thought, every decision now serves this identity. And the moment you live fully in alignment with this warrior identity, you unlock the final truth of transformation. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are no longer bound by limitation. You are no longer passive in your own life. You are unstoppable. You have climbed every wall. You have stared into the fire of your own limits and refused to blink. Every doubt that whispered in your ear, every fear that screamed in your chest, every excuse that tried to steal your focus has been confronted, endured, and overcome, and now you are here. The warrior within is awake. The version of yourself that bends, hesitates, and yields no longer exists. What remains is the master of your mind, the commander of your actions, the architect of your life. This is not a new skill. This is not a temporary surge. This is identity. You are the one who controls your thoughts. You are the one who decides what to act upon and what to ignore. You are the one who chooses discomfort because comfort is surrender. You are the one who pushes when others retreat, who runs toward resistance when others hide. You are fully awake to the truth. Your mind is the battlefield, and you are no longer a soldier. You are the general. Every morning you rise and greet the challenge before it greets you. Every task, every struggle, every repetition is deliberate. Mental toughness is not a concept, it is a routine. You do not wait for motivation. You do not hope for courage. You summon it through practice, repetition, and deliberate confrontation with discomfort. You train your mind the way a warrior trains their body. The burning in your lungs, the ache in your muscles, the tightness in your chest, these are all signals that you are alive, that you are growing, that you are extending beyond what yesterday allowed. You do not shy away from them. You do not negotiate with them. You endure them because endurance is now instinct. It is no longer choice. It is who you are. You visualize the impossible. You see the obstacles in front of you, not as barriers, but as opportunities to demonstrate that your limits are illusions. The wall that once terrified you now appears small in your mind. You picture yourself breaking through it with precision, strength, and resolve. Every visualization becomes a rehearsal for victory. Your mental rehearsals are no longer idle. Daydreams, they are drills, forging the neural pathways of courage, action, and resilience. You practice so thoroughly in your mind that when the real challenge arrives, it is already familiar territory. You do not stumble, you do not hesitate, you execute. And now, it is time for the final crescendo. Every wall climbed, every repetition endured, every moment of resistance conquered has led you to this point. You have endured the inner war, and the world is waiting for you to act externally. Life does not pause. It does not wait for clarity, courage, or confidence. The moment to act is now. Every opportunity ignored, every hesitation tolerated, every second wasted is a surrender to mediocrity. The world rewards those who refuse to quit, those who step forward when others retreat, those who carry their standards through exhaustion, those who transform thought into action and action into dominance. Picture yourself at the final barrier. It is the last challenge standing between you and the summit you have been climbing your entire life. Your legs are heavy, your lungs burn, every instinct screams to stop, to retreat, to give in, and yet your mind is calm, focused, precise. The crowd is silent. There is no applause, no external validation, no cheering. There is only you. Your inner voice becomes the command. Every fiber of your body obeys. Step, push, rise, run, move forward when others would collapse. Nothing is external that can stop you now, because everything you need is already inside you. The limits you once believed were real, the voices that told you enough is enough, they were lies. You chose to reject them. You chose action instead of surrender. You chose to dominate your mind, your body, and your destiny. And in this moment, you understand fully, limits were never real, they were lies you chose to believe. Today, you choose differently. Today, you act differently. Today, you are different. You are no longer a passenger in your life. You are the driver, the navigator, the engine, the force that will not be denied. The fire you endured, the wall you overcame, the pain you absorbed, all of it has built something permanent inside you, an unshakable, relentless identity that cannot be swayed by circumstance, fatigue, or fear. You are unstoppable because you have internalized what most people spend a lifetime searching for, mastery over self. Now, as the video closes, take this understanding into your own life. This is not a performance you watched and forgot. This is a standard you adopt. Find a quiet space, sit, journal, plan, execute. Begin with micro challenges immediately. Make your bed with precision. Push past the first wave of resistance in your work or training. Do the task that scares you most first. Test your limits, even if they are small today. These are the steps that solidify the warrior identity. Action without reflection is wasted energy. Reflection without action is useless philosophy. Combine them. Build rituals. Own your time. Own your mind. Own your actions. The gym, the quiet room, the early morning, the late night, they are all your arenas. You are alone and yet you are fully alive. Every breath, every movement, every thought is now deliberate. You fight, you endure, you own. You have transformed from the person who feared limits into someone who breaks them with precision. You are relentless, you are disciplined. You are the master of your own destiny. As you step forward from this moment, carry this ethos with you. Fight when others quit. Endure when others rest. Own when others blame. This is not temporary motivation. This is the architecture of identity. Build it, reinforce it, execute it. And know this, every barrier you encounter in the future, every challenge that seems insurmountable, every obstacle that whispers, you cannot, you are already prepared. You have trained for this. You have endured more than you realize. You have become someone who refuses to be stopped. Limits were never real. Excuses were never valid. Fear was never stronger than you. Today, you are different. Today, you are unstoppable. Today, you are the warrior. Step into the world with precision, with purpose, and with the unshakable certainty that nothing external can dictate your results. You decide, you act, you endure, you own. The battle was always within. You fought it, you won it. Now go beyond it. Go beyond hesitation. Go beyond fear. Go beyond the false limits that once held you back. And remember, the world only bends for those who refuse to surrender. You are one of them. You are the one who acts when others hesitate, who rises when others fall, who dominates when others falter. This is your life. This is your standard. This is your identity. Own it. Live it. Never look back.